Welcome to episode 53. It's all about the green. See, I
Yep.
need a green napkin.
I did not have a green napkin. I looked, I didn't have one. And so I'm like, okay, I will need to stick to black. So
Wow.
I know.
So this show is all about the green, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our green episode.
Nope, I don't have green. Nope, no green.
But like I would have a lot of fun with green, right? Like, most people probably thought, oh, they're just going to go with make margaritas and, you know what I mean, and dye the food green. No.
Well, I do have Lime Rita Chiller by Buzzball.
The Buzzballs. Okay, yeah, I didn't go get those, but I thought about that. But I thought, you know what would have been great to get if we could have got it, but I know they weren't ready for us. Is that Nuke Waste? Former members of Craig's Mastermind make that. The Lubies, and would have been nice to have that, but.
Well, what I did have this morning was my vitamin water Forever You. So that was this morning, which I can combine with. You made your green drink. I almost made a green drink this morning. I really did. I was so close. I thought about making a shamrock shake, but I really didn't want pistachio or mint chip, like a mint chip in my fridge because I'm like, mint chip. I don't eat ice cream all that often. It's just going to sit there. So I'm like, do I really want to buy a whole thing and then not eat it? But another thing that I found was Jones Special Release Key Lime 3.14-159265353 soda.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? It's close to being 314. It's 313, but it was green, so I had to buy that. So these three things were things that I saw as I was going through the supermarket that I went, ooh, it's green. I got to grab that. Ooh, it's green. I got to grab that.
Yeah, I was going to, for food, I was going to make a pesto pasta.
Okay.
Huh?
I was too.
Yeah, but I had spinach tortellinis and stuff like that I was going to raviolis I was going to do it with. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go that far into it, but I wanted to play games with green as well. Of course, I have my green drink. This is the healthy stuff I would drink. It's got celery into it. Celery, spinach, kale, ginger. All right. And then it's a taint little bit of orange because I put some radish and some carrot in, right? But the celery gives it its main green, right? And it's very good. This is a morning drink. But how many? I have apple in it too. I have a green apple in it, which green apple, see, lime, green things that we eat. But I made for my food not all green because it has a few red onions into it. I made a cucumber salad.
Ah, nice. Okay. Yeah. Very nice.
And then I thought about green. We could it doesn't have to be the food. It could be the packaging that's green, right?
Yeah.
So what would Tim do? Thin mints. It's the ultimate green food, ladies and gentlemen. Thin mints from the Girl Scouts.
Well, I was going to make a ravioli. It was going to be a spinach cheese ravioli with the pesto, but the pesto was going to be mixed in with other ingredients that was going to make it green, including spinach in it with parsley and what have you. And then it was going to be baked, and I was going to do that. But after I got through with all of this, I'm like, I'm done. Yeah. So I went with everything green that I could on a salad.
Oh, wow.
So I had the spinach, of course, to start with. Then I added the green tomato, but only the inside because the outside was too. Then I added avocado. There's seaweed in here. There's cilantro. There is green onions in the middle. Then I have edamame. I have pumpkin seeds. I have French green beans. I have celery right there. And so that was,
that is good. Yeah.
So I wanted it to look all green. I'm like, man, it needs some color. But I got all the greens in there. I didn't add all the kales and all that because I'm like, I got this huge bag of spinach. Got to use that. So before I got into that one, what I did was that I made what's going to be the dressing for the for the salad, which I'm making a mess of. Bear with me as I.
But now is the time you get to lick your fingers and taste it. Yeah, see, yeah.
Very yummy.
But what? Wait a minute. But what are you gonna do for green drinks?
Oh wow! I haven't even got. I'm not done with food yet.
Oh, showing me up, are you?
So, of course, I had to put the leftover edamame with pumpkin seeds, but then I also found some green Haribo gummy bears, and this is strawberry. Hello, it's green, but it's strawberry. So I had
That's kind of like dyeing the Chicago River green for St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
Never mind the chips, but what you have here is rotisserie chicken in what would be like a chicken salad. In that chicken salad is shredded up, very thinly cut green cabbage.
Okay.
Celery.
Yeah.
The chicken scallions, all chopped up very finely in here. And
looking through here, it looks like guacamole, but yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, did you put some avocados in it? Yeah.
So the dressing, which is what's in here, and I liked it enough to set it aside for the dressing. So the way you make the dressing is that spinach, basil, parsley, avocado, salt, pepper, lemon, lime, mayo, sour cream. Blend it all together and you get this delicious, delicious sauce that is what turns this green. So it's naturally green from all the spinach, the herbs, the avocado. I mean, gives it that beautiful creamy look. And I was like, okay, this looks weird. I'm like, hey, my chicken looks like it's been sitting out for too long. But it was so good and I liked it. So I said, I'm going to reserve some for the dressing of my salad. So those are my food items. And after I did this, because this took me a moment, because I was like, okay, I got to do something different and making sure that I like the taste. Then I was like, I'm going to forego the pasta. I'm like,
yeah, pasta would put too much heaviness to that.
Yeah, so I was like, having pasta, having chicken salad, having a salad, I was like, no, that's too much. And I was exhausted. I ran a 15K yesterday after I ran a 5K on Saturday. So I was spent. And I'm like, and I'm doing laundry and I'm doing all this. And I'm like, I'm done. And so that's where I had to stop. So then for my drink, I thought green beer. So I had green beer yesterday. I think I posted a picture. But so I will be having green beer today, but that's not my only drink and it's not the Buzz Ball. So what I was trying to find a cocktail that would be a suitable green. So I found one and I was like, absinthe? And I look up at the bar. Do I not have some absinthe over there? And then I didn't realize it looks kind of yellow, but it is a light green.
Are you talking this?
Yep.
My father-in-law would be so in love with our podcast tonight if he were alive. Alfred, this is for you.
It is called, because I'm like, is it dark? And I was trying to remember the name of it. I was like, is it Dark and Stormy? I'm like, that sounds like a stripper name. No, that's not it. It is called Death in the Afternoon.
Okay.
So it is absinthe, simple syrup, and you top it off with either a Prosecco or a Brut sparkling.
That sounds good.
So if you have a good quality absinthe, it's not going to be your rich, dark green. It's going to be a little bit of the lighter green, although I know that it looks more yellow in the camera, but it is this pretty green. I'm going to see if I can get something white to put behind it to see if maybe that'll help bring out the color. Maybe a little bit, not much.
It has a very similarity look to Red Bull. If you notice that. Same thing. Red Bull's really like a green, but it has that yellowish tint to it, depending on what you're looking at it against. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this one, it's like 2 minutes to make, super easy. An ounce of absinthe, a teaspoon of simple syrup, and 4 ounces of champagne or Prosecco. You pour this into a cocktail glass. You then top it off. So I have my cocktail glass for that. And then I got my glass for my green beer, because got to have the green beer.
I got a glass for green beer.
Yep. And then the other thing I wanted to play with, depending on how we're doing, I wanted to add a little bit of green food coloring to some vodka to see how I like that. So that's kind of could happen, maybe, possibly, we shall see.
I decided to avoid using food coloring this time to see, because it was a creative challenge to make it green, right?
Naturally green. I almost played with the chips to put them in green food coloring and water and then throw them in the microwave but I was like, nah, the chips are just going to stay chips. And so I thought I'm going to use them.
Chips and dip, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw a shocker your way, which you never would have thought green.
Green whiskey?
Nope.
Oh, green chili wine from Hatch. Hatch chili.
Green chili wine. All right. It's from a company in New Mexico.
Of course, because that's the only place you can get Hatch chilies is in Hatch, New Mexico.
So you go to hatchchiliwines.com is what it says on the bottle. Now, I've had this for a couple of years because I always have had the company. It used to be called something else, but it's now like Les Combe or something wines.
Okay.
This is their glass here.
Okay. Nice.
I try to get I probably should have something behind it to
let it
let you guys see the emblem onto it. All right.
Oh yeah. It's that it looks like a coat of arms.
Yeah, we went to them. They were called something else. Like St. Clair was what they used to be called. We went to them the very first time we were on a motorcycle, and we found them. We liked it. Well, we've tasted this chili wine now. They have a green and they have a red. And the second we thought green, like Saturday, I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to pull the green chili out. All right. Now, it doesn't really look green. It's a white wine, but it's made with green Hatch chilies. Mm-hmm. They have a green and they have a red, and this one's actually made with the chilies. The red's made with a chili powder.
Okay.
All right. The green is has a little more spice to it. All right. And it is like a refreshing little sweetness with spice.
Yeah, and Hatch chilies, they are very special, truly. I living in El Paso, I would drive to Hatch, New Mexico as an outing. I mean, I think whenever we had an outing, it was always in New Mexico. It was never in Texas, just because New Mexico is right there, and we go to Cloudcroft and we go to Hatch, and Hatch has a cute town. I mean, it's this older town. It just has this feel that's just kind of very old world. And you could smell the Hatch chilies being roasted. Oh. And I remember, I think I had been out here in Oregon a couple of years, and I was in the Pearl area, and I see Hatch chilies, and I'm like, oh, Hatch chilies. And I had to buy as many as I could because I took them home, roasted them, froze some of them, made some others. But they just have such a great flavor. So if you ever find Hatch chilies, they're not your Anaheim chilies. They just have a distinct flavor, and they can only be called Hatch chilies if they come from Hatch, New Mexico. So I'm going to start with, it's supposed to be 1 ounce. It says, I don't even know if this is 1 ounce, but I guess I should measure this. Tablespoons.
The best way I can describe this chili is, because it's done with grapes and green Hatch chilies.
Okay.
Imagine, if you can, vinegar that is so refreshing you want to drink a ton of it, like a refreshing vinegar.
And there are some drinkable vinegars out there.
There are drinkable, but I'm talking, you understand what I mean by the flavors of vinegar. Yeah. But put that with a little bit of sweetness to it, all right? Almost feels like it has some fizz to it. All right, like it has some seltzer to it. So imagine a vinegar that you could drink, all right, but it's grape, all right, and it's Hatch chili put together. But the best way, that's I said, the best way I can describe this is like drinking a very refreshing vinegar.
Okay. How did I know that even existed?
I don't know. Well, come on. You and I are always looking for what's out there.
Yeah, but this has been a while, and why can I'm gonna have a hard time. I think I had a heck of a time opening the bottle last time. Let's see if I can get this open. Because I used La Marca. I was looking for a green label and I couldn't find one. So I just went with what I knew that I said, okay, well, I just want to split because I knew if I got anything that wasn't a split, it's just going to sit there.
Yeah.
If I can only open it. Oh.
Now this wine goes very well with the wonderful cucumber salad that we made.
Okay.
Which has small mini cucumbers into it, small little green cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
And I think it has red onions for the flavor.
Okay.
All right, and then done with an oil and vinegar dressing. All right, and other than that, I mean, it's just they're just those three things into it.
I'm going to move this over because I want this salad with the picture of the Pernod. See, look at the color. It is not it looks
similar to a lemonade.
Yeah. And here it does have a little bit more of the green. So I'm going to try to get it in here in a picture because this is kind of a fun one, very different. But this is your death in the afternoon. So that one's for you. And I figured it was so funny because I'm like, oh, you're gonna go, really? That's so now the taste of it. Oh wow. You can smell it. You can smell the Pernod as you're bringing it up.
So Pernod's got the smell of a licorice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then you get that because there is some simple syrup in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went with the Prosecco instead of a Brut, knowing that the Pernod is going to be a little bit stronger in flavor. So yes. I knew that I wanted to tone it down. And in order to tone it down, I needed something a little bit sweet. Even though I knew I was going to be putting in some simple syrup, I thought, you know what? I also need a slightly sweeter, but not, super nut and Asti. I didn't need that much because then I just skipped the simple syrup altogether. So I thought that La Marca would be a little bit more apropos when it came to the type of sparkling wine I was going to put into it. I didn't want anything too dry because then the Pernod would take over. And so I wanted this balance. And I do feel that balance in there where it was like, oh, that's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you know a little bit of the history of absinthe because as I was looking for the recipe, then I come across a little bit of history of absinthe. And for over 100 years, absinthe was banned both in the US and in Europe. And it wasn't until 2007 that it became legal to sell Pernod in both Europe and the US.
Really?
The reason for it was because artists way back when, because Pernod, I mean, it's right on the label, 1805.
Yep.
So right there.
Yep.
The artists, and they would say that it had hallucinogenic effects. And they started to state, just people in general, that people were doing very brutal things and all this craziness associated with absinthe. So they thought that it was more of a drug than an alcohol. So that's why it got banned. Well, of course, the scientists did all sorts of research and they said, well, it's no worse than somebody over drinking on anything else. And that's what it was. That's why people were acting stupid. It was because they were drunk, not because of the absinthe and not because it's hallucinogenic, but just because it, if you drink too much of any alcohol, you're going to do stupid things. So it wasn't.
I'm saying apparently these people who thought they were getting dizzy from it hadn't drank tequila that much.
Well, the other part of it is back then, people were making absinthe, but they weren't using quality products, or the way that they were distilling it was not really good. It was like making a cheap moonshine that they're just throwing together in their garage and using, the same bowl that they put the oil in it, and they didn't clean it out properly. So that was part of it that was making people sick. And so there was a lot of history behind that. But what amazed me more than all of that, because a lot of weird things happened way back when, is that it took until 2007 for it to become legal both in the US and in Europe. And this is a product of France.
Wow.
So that's the history behind absinthe, which I was like, wow. And the higher quality absinthe is also on the lighter side. So if you're finding absinthe that's a little bit lighter, like the Pernod, it's a higher quality. And I think it's just because it's distilled so many times that's why it lightens up. But it still has that richness to it, and it's just it normally does have higher alcohol content on this one. I know that I had looked it up, but I can't recall what the alcohol content on it was, and it doesn't have it on here.
I was supposed to have it. I thought it was our U.S. law had to have it on there.
I don't see it on here. Oh, there it is. 40%
alcohol by volume. It's on the front.
Yeah, so it's right there on the front. 40% alcohol by volume. Back then, the proof was a lot higher. Again, quality at 110, 150 proof was not all there, and it was causing all sorts of problems. So when you're looking at high quality products, spirit, just in general, but with spirits in this case, is that if you have a high quality product, you're less likely, unless you absolutely indulge and have too much, you're less likely to have a hangover or a headache because of the high quality of the product. If you have a lesser quality, you're going to get drunk a lot quicker. You're going to get the headache. You're not going to feel well the next day, and then you're going to be hating life. So,
well, that goes with anything. I mean, over the years, when I learned to drink good beers, good quality wines, all right, I noticed I had less hangovers. Right. I remember when I was a kid, when we were kids, you know what I mean? We drank the Bud Lights, the Miller Lights, whatever it was, because it was what we could get cheap. And this goes back to why I have green drinks every day. The quality of stuff you put into your body is the quality of health you're going to get from your body. Right. And that's a good thing to have on our green episode was, this is about green alcohol because we can, you can dye. I love it. It's using Chicago River as the example. You can dye the river green, but they never can dye it blue. Have you noticed that? Water's supposed to be blue, right? Yeah. When we get into dyeing or altering our foods, the quality of stuff we put into our body to make it cheap, all right, or to do something cheesy,
right?
We pay for it in the long run, all right? And it may not be. I mean, headache is one thing. But imagine the other ailments that can go wrong with your body because you ate wrong, you drank wrong, right? And I don't like that. I mean, when we talk about like the way you drink, I like the way I drink because I want to enjoy it, not enjoy 10 minutes, 2 hours. No, I want to enjoy the taste now. I do want some benefits for my body to feed it, all right? And yes, I do love the taste of my alcohol. And I'm not always drinking to hurry up, get buzzed. I'm not a teenager anymore, but I'm drinking for the taste. I was over today when I get home from my meetings. I ran over. My neighbor Rick was outside, and I haven't talked to him since I moved in. I walked over and started talking to him. Him and his wife were out there in the garage having a cigar and a drink, and then he says, "Yeah, this is our cigar and coffee studio." And we got to talking drinks, and he's like. The first thing his wife asked me and says, well, what kind of drink would you want right now? Right? What would you make? And I'm like, boy, it's interesting, and we got to talking bourbons and I said, what's your favorite? And she goes, give me a Woodford Reserve, old fashioned.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's all about what that flavor is you like. Now they're smoking cigars and drinking their bourbon. I'm not a cigar smoker, but yeah, that's a pairing that goes hand in hand that you want to pair together.
Yeah.
So smokers are going to, look for a good bourbon to drink,
And even with your Scotch, I don't like the Highland Scotches as much because they're so peaty.
Yeah.
There's the Ardbeg. There's great flavor in Ardbeg, but at the same time, I don't want to taste my cigar in my drink. If I'm going to have a cigar, I want it separate. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to take that sip and just have that cigar in my mouth. And that's the way that Ardbeg, this one particular, the Kelpie, tastes like to me. And so it's that balance of I don't always want that flavor in my mouth, and I want to be able to balance it out. And but if I want to have my cigar without having any smoke, well, then I'm going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, one other thing that's in this chicken salad is the sliced up cucumbers, very thin. So cucumbers, cabbage, green onions, and celery, all in here. It's just delicious. This pairs very well.
Yeah.
The flavors of and I don't know if it's the freshness of the cabbage, the avocado, but that freshness along with the Pernod just goes very well. I mean, it was like, oh, this tastes even that much better. So,
Well, that's it. I mean, pairing was the whole part of why we started the show, is what pairs with what. All right. The only thing I've never really sat and thought about pairing with was my little glass of Pernod. And I know when you suggested Pernod, I immediately ran and grabbed the glass that my father and I would sit and drink Pernod.
Very nice.
Now, the only thing I didn't have was a sugar cube. He would normally pour it over a sugar cube.
And that's, you can do a sugar cube. You can do a simple syrup. And that's I think this is what he was trying to go for, is what's in here. Only this one has the sparkling. I think you can add like a Topo Chico on top of it, give it that little bit of a fizz.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll just give it that fizziness without the additional alcohol. But that would be things to try. So I'm like going, I wasn't big on just by itself.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I think I found a new way to try it, and pair it with other things that I'm like, okay, that might work. I won't be mad at that.
Yeah. So I mean, and I mean, I really did not have anything heavy this week. Now, granted, I didn't open my Thin Mints. I just brought that as an example. The only thing I brought to eat this week was the salad. And I think I told you that last week in our post show last week. I said, all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a refreshing salad. All right, because I wanted to do something refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that really is refreshing sometimes just to have a salad. I'm not a salad only type person. Like last night, we had chicken salad. We took the leftover chicken, chopped it up, made a chicken salad out of it. Probably not as good as your chicken salad right now, but anyway.
I love chicken salad. It was so cute. So I've been watching Guy Fieri for years, and he had his son was actually in one of the volumes of Food Network way back when, and his son had created this chicken salad. I still have that page in my notebook of recipes that I make. I like the way his son made the chicken salad.
Yeah.
Well, his son now is an adult, and he's on one of his, I think, a couple of his shows. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he has grown. This was like, I think 10 years ago when he was in Food Network. But I love chicken salad. And so I put not pears, oh my goodness. I put grapes in my chicken salad. So I'll try chicken salad different ways. So that's why this recipe just grabbed me. I didn't make it to the way they specified. I always adapt. I always change. What do I like more of? What do I like less of? Do I really need 3 cups of that? Let me just do 1 cup, And so this was a very fun one. And I love the crunchiness that you get in with the chicken salad. And I didn't make the full dressing. And I still have this much left. I seriously didn't put it all in there. I was like, no. So that's going to be dipped. That's going to be for, I have more chicken. I can add it into that. I can use it for dressing. It's just got such yummy flavor. And that avocado, oh my goodness. But,
So, on a daily basis, all right, let's ask this, because on a daily basis, how much green food do you take in? Think if you were to name everything green you ate this week.
I had a salad yesterday because I had so much spinach.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Caesar salad on Saturday. Does my green beer yesterday count? Last week, 4 days, I had avocado toast.
Oh yeah, I had that yesterday too. Yeah.
With a hard-boiled egg and on a whole grain toast. So last week I did do well with eating more greens, but I don't make it a point to eat enough greens.
Yeah.
So I'll have greens if I'm having spinach or avocado, cucumbers, cilantro. Those are things. Oh, and edamame. So if I get edamame, I will just eat edamame like that. Like roasted pumpkin seeds. Oh, I love eating those. Avocados, I can eat avocado every day. And that's a good fat. Yes, it is a fat, but it is a good fat. Cucumbers is another thing I could eat a lot of. And then spinach. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what it is that I'm eating. I don't think about it. I don't make it a point to. But when I do, it's usually very specific. I will have avocado, spinach, cucumbers, green onions for everything, and cilantro, and then a lettuce of some sort. Yeah. So those are the 6 greens that I really don't think about. I just have them because it's part of what I like in the recipes that I'm making. If I'm making tacos, guess what? I'm throwing lettuce in there.
Yeah.
I think about it, it's just lettuce. And depending on the type of taco, I might also add avocado or cilantro. So
cilantro, to me, I can't have a taco without cilantro now. The second I had cilantro mixed in with my taco, I'm sorry. And the taco place that I have here in town, the Fuzzy's Tacos, mm-hmm. They have a cilantro lime rice.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that good, right? And green, all right. Your lime, your cilantro, and just mixed with rice.
Yep.
Some of the green foods that you had, I want to see about this. Some of the green foods we had as kids that we were like, I don't want that. But now as adults, we're like, oh man, I want that. Have you thought about that?
Overcooked broccoli. I love broccoli. Don't like it overcooked. Green beans. Overcooked green beans growing up. Ugh. I eat them now. Didn't really eat a whole lot of spinach growing up.
I didn't either. All right. But I hated, no, I hated, you're talking about those right there. I hated spinach. I hated green beans growing up. All right. And I hated broccoli. Now, here's the difference of what I like to them as adults. Now we steam them. We don't boil them. Think about that. You boil green beans. All right. You steam a green bean. It still has some of that crispness to it when you bite into it. You know what I mean? For me, Brussels sprouts. As a kid, I wouldn't touch them. As an adult, I'll pick them up and eat them raw. I love them so much.
The way that I green beans, my cousin had made these green beans, this green bean recipe that's practically about the only way. I mean, I am eating them here, but that would be the only way I would eat green beans. And it was this recipe from this little old lady in Southgate in LA area. Mm-hmm. Delicious. But again, they were steamed. Yeah. And then you put some breadcrumbs and pimentos, butter, olive oil, salt, pepper. Oh my goodness, absolutely delicious green beans. With spinach, I remember I was dating this guy way back when, 30 years ago. Not that old.
Giving away your age, young lady.
I was 9. No.
I see it. Everybody thought this was the old man Tim and the young chick Gladys show. Now they're learning the truth.
So he had made this big spinach salad. He made it for lunch or dinner, whatever it was. And I'm like going, oh my goodness, I don't like spinach. But it was this, I learned how to make a really good salad because of him. He had spinach and he had garbanzo beans and he had black beans and then he had tomatoes and avocado and all this stuff in this huge salad. And I was like, I'm not going to like this, but I was going to try to eat it. And it was like, oh my goodness, the best salad ever. It all was on how it was paired, what everything was put together. And I was like, oh, I was eating, the way I was eating it wasn't conducive to me liking it. As soon as there was a good way to pair it, it's like, oh my goodness, you put spinach with all these goodies. Oh yeah, I can eat it.
That's like me in the last year in the Guinness, and still we're talking about this a year later. Guinness shepherd's pie. All right, that was the biggest shock of my life. All right, and that episode was a year ago.
It was because it was March.
It was like the second week of March. We did it a year ago. Yep.
So it all depends on what you're pairing it with. That'll make a huge difference. And I was going to have green beer, but instead of green beer, I thought, you know what? I still have a little bit of sparkling. So look at the color. It still looks a little yellow, but it is green. And then once you add the sparkling, then it lightens up.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
Pop this clink. So
wow.
This is very.
Because we don't have the Like the Way You Drink glasses yet. Coming soon, the Like the Way You Drink glass collection.
We will. Hey, we got coasters. Where's my coaster? Oh.
Yeah, we do have coasters. We have coasters thanks to Cindy. You know what I mean? Our number one fan, Cindy, actually created that. So, but
Bucket List Coach, thank you so much for being our fan.
Yeah. So let's calculate this episode. All right. Everything we planned to do this, when we first said green, we're going to do an episode of just green. Did you envision when we first said that this is what we're going to do?
No.
No. I was off on, like, you know what I mean, dyeing the food green, making the greenest margarita with food coloring I could make. I never thought I'd go here.
No, I didn't know what I was going to make. I'm like, okay, how can I find green food? And I started Googling green food, and the Pioneer Woman, I have got to hand it down to her. She's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I love her. She's amazing. 30 recipes of green food. Oh, right.
Reuben, you know, it's funny you say that because when this idea for the show started, we said there were two things we were going to taste: bourbon and moonshine. And I've only stuck moonshine in here and there. We have yet to do a moonshine show.
But we do have our little moonshines that little samplers and such. So
yeah, we have a set of samplers that we're going to do sometime with just moonshine. That's samplers from somebody. Because there's a lot of moonshine is making a huge comeback and a commercial appearance. Mm-hmm. And really, moonshine is nothing more than whiskeys that aren't aged. They're American whiskeys. They're just not aged. You know what I mean? It's not put in a barrel like your bourbons are and aged, all right, for a few years to give it that brown. So it's the same thing, just unaged.
I think we need to, make some in the backyard. Pretend that we're in the wilderness like they were doing it for many years, and moonshiners out in the middle of the wilderness.
Okay, I know you watched the show The Kitchen as well, right? Mm-hmm. Remember during the pandemic during the kitchen, Sunny, she would actually be out barbecuing in her backyard in New Jersey. That could be you and me with the backyard cameras going up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. What I love about their recipes is that they're so easy to make. I mean, they have this shepherd's pie that has, I think I mentioned it last week, that had butternut squash on top, and it's just like one pot shepherd's pie. Oh my goodness, that looks so delicious. That's something I'm going to need to make. There was something else that they made that I actually made. I know that there's a good whenever there's a recipe that I can make immediately while they're making it, or that I have the ingredients and I'm jotting down the stuff, even if I'm watching how they're making it. I'm not taking down how much of it, but if I know the ingredients, I can figure it out because I know what I like and I usually can figure out how much I need and I can make it. I know that it's a great show because it's something that is not it's not like those competitions like your Iron Chefs, that there is no way I'm going to make that. No way.
You know,
if I can make it, I think that makes it a great show.
This summer, you know what we're going to do for episodes this summer? We're going to reverse the cooking shows. We're going to take a recipe off the cooking show that we can do, and we're going to match drinks with it, as opposed to making the drink and matching the food with it. We're going to reverse it. We're going to take their recipe, make it, and we're going to pair a drink with it.
Oh.
Hey, we're unique on this show, guys.
You know, we're going to try new things. That makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. So anyway. So I finished my cucumber salad again because it wasn't a lot. I just told Gwen when we made it, just make me a little bit for tasting. All right. Because I wanted to just taste tonight. Again, this is there's nights that I do this and I walk away so full I can't eat, you know. And then
this is dinner on Mondays.
Yeah, it's not, to me it's not, because Gwen gets home and she makes dinner and I'm like, oh no, I'm full. You know what I mean? But this tonight was a refreshing, not full. So anyway. So on news for the week, all right. We talked news for the week.
Okay.
One of the things that I decided to do with my office, now, if you remember my condo and the office there, I had a moonshine bar. I had all the moonshines up. I built a bar in the area that had, moonshines and alcohols and stuff. I'm starting to come up with an area that I'm building, but I bought a drink cooler. So now I can keep, I keep a bottle of wine cool. I can keep some beers cool in here. All right. And soft drinks cool in my office. I no longer have to take up the kitchen refrigerator for our drinks, which I'm sure you already had in your office. But anyway, yeah.
Well, non-refrigerated is in here. Refrigerated is in the little break room.
Wow.
So that's the way I have it. But I would love to have, this one little corner I have here was supposed to have like a little coffee bar when clients came in. But when COVID hit, I'm like, well, nobody's going to come see me, so I don't need a coffee bar.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, maybe I could put a bar in that corner.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, that's I just don't have the bar in the office yet. But there are alcohols I get that are for the show that I keep in here until we're definitely done with them before I move them to the house bar.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. What I have here is for the show, whether it's right now or later. And there's been times that it's like, oh, that's right. Because you'll pull something out and it's like, let me go into my bar and pull it out.
Exactly. So, all right. So, so this week we kind of like shocked ourselves, both of us. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. We actually found things that we tried just by using a word, a color, green. All right. We didn't like pare the drink down, we just used green. Green was our only guidance. And I love that because it got us to be creative. All right. And in my world, it helped me really realize how much food we eat that is green.
Yeah. And if we combine it, it's great. And one thing for informational purposes, not non-useful information, is the whole thing with green and St. Patty's Day is because of the leprechauns cannot see green. So if you're wearing green, you're invisible to them. And the whole point of being pinched, if you weren't wearing green, is because that's supposed to be the leprechaun getting you, because they can see you if you're not wearing green. But if you wear green, they can't see you.
Uh-huh.
So that is the whole purpose of green.
Okay.
Just thought information that I learned that it's like, oh yeah, all of a sudden comes up. Where's my little light bulb moment? Oh yeah, I got to share that.
Bong. I can't do that. Remember the guy in Police Academy? Bong.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
What are your green recipes? What do you like that's green? That's not just adding some food coloring in there. This absolutely surprised me. I hadn't tried it. I mean, I had tried it, but I hadn't tried it in this.
In a drink. Yeah, I've never done it in a drink. So
Death in the Afternoon. So that is very yummy. I am absolutely enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
And it pairs beautifully with my chicken salad.
Yeah.
I will
So
say
we
that.
went out. Yeah, we went out to dinner on Sunday for Mom's birthday, and we went to a wine bar that we go to on a regular basis down in Legacy area of Dallas, and it's called Crew, CRU, Crew Wine Bar, and typically, I mean, we go for a brunch, and I mean, they've got great brunch recipes, but we all get a wine, right? We all in this case here, we all got what do they call it? Not a float or a float. I don't know what they call it. 3 wine tastings. What do they call it?
Flight?
Huh? A flight. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. Why did I go mind blowing on that? Anyway, so we each get a flight. I'm going for brunch. Guess what flight I get?
A Bloody Mary flight? No, mimosa flight?
Well, no, not mimosa, but sparklings. If I'm going for breakfast, I'm going to have No, if I'm going for dinner, I probably want a Pinot Noir or a Cab flight.
Right.
But if I'm going for breakfast food, brunch, I want a
something
sparkling flight.
Huh.
Gwen had a rosé flight, and Mom had I don't know whether she had a Pinot flight or it was I think it was a Pinot flight. But one of the ones Mom had was a winery that I visited with Gwen, and I visited when we first started dating years ago out in Central Coast. All right, is Justin in Central Coast of California.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very good. And I think we ended up getting a bottle of it, bring home for Mom. So yeah.
Nice. If you can ever find rosé of Pinot Noir,
yeah,
that is different. Or a white Pinot Noir that has that, it's just that rosé of Pinot Noir just has a slightly different flavor because I'm not a big rosé fan.
yeah.
I mean, they're okay. They're not my favorite. But when I tried the first rosé of Pinot Noir, I was like, oh, this is different. I like this.
Yeah.
So
see, I like my rosés in a bubbly. I do. I like my rosés bubbly. Mum and Napa, which we've had on the show before. Mum, they have a rosé that is out of this world. I love. So.
That was one of the splits that was available to me, but I didn't want a rosé because I didn't want it to change the color of the green.
Yes.
So that's why I went with this one. But Mom was right there, and I went, no, I can't do a rosé. I knew that it would probably flavor-wise would pair well, but I didn't think color-wise it would be green, and I needed green, or at least a lighter shade of green. It's okay. Lighter shade of green is fine. There's so many shades of green. You saw it on my salad. That darker and that lighter. Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. All the way good stuff.
Yeah. But definitely goes with this chicken salad. Absolutely delicious. But use it sparingly. Absinthe is strong. It really has that punch on there. So just if it's calling for a 1 ounce, put a half an ounce or 3/4 of an ounce. It's okay. You don't have to use exactly. Just go just slightly less. And if you can find a small bottle, get the small bottle. But this is one delicious drink that I'm like, okay. I mean, I've had this much of it from our last to now.
Okay. Yeah, mine's not that low either. I mean, I don't drink this much because this is I only drank this with my father-in-law this year, really. I mean, and now and then, like everybody's here, I'll do a toast to my father-in-law with it. So, anyway.
Well, I thought about you when I'm going home, and I look up at the bar, and there's this Ernode because I can only see the RNOD in the bar, and I went, Yeah, I got it in the bar. I can make that. So I thought you'd appreciate it. But yes, have your greens. It's good for you. There's so many greens you can have.
Yep.
They're good for you. They're good for your health. Have the greens. Add them in there. Avocado is a good fat.
Oh yeah, I love avocados. And I still remember the day that here in Texas, that I first had just an avocado, some salt, some pepper, and just ate the avocado.
If you can find everything bagel seasoning,
Yes.
that on an avocado with a little bit of lime
A little bit
juice,
of heaven.
it is so yummy. That's what I was doing with my avocado toast.
Yeah.
I put the everything bagel seasoning, a little bit of salt, not much, just a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, then the egg, the hard boiled egg. Oh my goodness, that was delicious. That was a delicious breakfast.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, I forgot we actually have this thing here that we can do these. Today's shout out. Any shout outs today? Special thanks?
Oh my goodness. I didn't have to, well, besides the La Marca that I had to get, other than that, I can't even think about, well, thanks to you for introducing me to Pernod, because I would not have had it in my bar if it had not been for you. Thank you for Haribo for the your crazy.
The green squishy thing. The green one. Oh yeah, have you seen that commercial? The green one
flying into my mouth.
Yeah. I would not drink Pernod if it wasn't for my father-in-law. I still love him. I miss him very much. He's been gone almost 10 years now, and I miss him. I miss, as well as my own dad, I miss. But anyway, yeah. I'm going to give a special shout out to the DH Les Combs Winery. All right, and their Hatch Green Chili. I have a Running Waters one as well, but I decided to go with the Green Hatch tonight because of this one here. This one here is a long time, man. This has got to be. We've probably had this on our bar for over 10 years.
Oh wow!
All right, so we always have a bottle or two of the Hatch chili wines, both green or red. We always seem to have a bottle on our wine rack.
I'll have to tell my friend. I still have a few friends in El Paso. I'm going to say, when you go to Hatch, look for it. I'm sure they would love to try it. A shout out to Costco for the chicken, because the chicken, I actually went and bought a rotisserie chicken. I saw the rotisserie chicken at Kroger and I went, $10 for that little shriveled up thing. I don't know how much I can pull off of that. Went to Costco for $4.99. Got this little big bird. Didn't have to use all of it. I still have plenty of chicken left to make more chicken salad or enchiladas or tacos or whatever I want to do. And came out of there with that, pumpkin seeds and one other thing. $21 in like 10 minutes, in and out. Fastest trip and the cheapest I've ever gotten at Costco.
Wow. Hey, so does Costco serve liquors up there where you're at?
They do have it in Washington, not in Oregon.
Not in Oregon? Okay.
Oregon and Texas, there is no alcohol except for beer and wine at Costco. But up here in Washington, they do have it because it's a controlled state versus a non-controlled state. California and Washington are non-controlled. Oregon is a controlled state. Therefore, you can only buy liquor at a liquor store. Unless I remember going to Costco in Texas, and they had a liquor store that was attached but not part of Costco. So you couldn't get the Costco brand, the Kirkland brand, because they weren't part of Costco. You can only get it at a Costco, and because Costco was in Texas, you couldn't get it. So you had to go to like New Mexico.
So, but the ones you go to, does like Kirkland have their own vodka?
Yeah, really good vodka. Their whiskey.
Gonna have to do that.
They have good rum and vodka. I don't care for their whiskey, but I'm very particular about whiskey. But yeah, they're if you
really,
yeah.
Let's face it. On this show here, it's only the best whiskey.
I'm not but Kirkland vodka is pretty good. It is Grey Goose vodka, actually. It's not the Grey Goose. It's the next level. It's the drippings from Grey Goose.
It's not the. It's not. It's the Tito's of Grey Goose.
There you go. But yeah, so we have to go into Washington State Costco to get alcohol spirits. But in Oregon, Costco's no spirits, only beer and wine. But
Yeah, speaking of Tito's, all right, Tito's, you're supposed to buy out Mary's Mixers. They want you to do that. We're going to mention it on the show.
Yep. So Tito's, Mary's Mixers.
Tito's, buy your mixers.
Yeah. And if you don't know about them, ask us. We'll send you.
We'll hook you up.
Yeah, we'll send you free samples. We know people who know people.
We got people in that department.
That's right.
So, anyway, next week we have a great episode coming. You have to tune in next week to find out more. All right. If you've not already, go subscribe to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel. All right. And I don't think I've switched the YouTube channel link because I think we've got it now. Or subscribe to where you get your podcasts. We were on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. We're on 25 different networks. So go subscribe to where you get your podcast. All right. And tell your friends about our show, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty soon we will have a recipe membership that we'll be introducing. We'll tell you more about that in the coming months. Probably going to look towards May before we tell you about that. So this show is brought to you every week by both Gladys and I, all right, as well as Mary's Mixers, all right, to make the show an experience. We put together our businesses to put this out as a sponsorship. So my name is Tim Gillette, and I have Simple Easy Marketing. All right, I help people with online websites, social media, things like that, as well as coaching, as well as implementing services for you. My co-host, Gladys Boutwell, will tell you all about what she does.
And I will tell you, see, Tim's logo is in green, and not because he purposely did that, although he did. It wasn't for this show, but it is green. And I am the co-host, Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design, helping small business owners with their employee benefits in order to attract and retain quality staff. If you are interested in finding out how does that incorporate into my business, tell you what, reach out to me. I will help you figure that out. And if you are not in the states of Oregon, California, or Washington, I will help find somebody that will then help you find what is going to work for you. But I'll answer all your questions. You can find me at insurancedesignpros.com. And you can find 101 employee benefits for all budgets in that website. Thanks for being here today, y'all. We appreciate you.
We will see you guys all next week. We appreciate you always tuning in and sharing our episodes. Tim Gillette out.